Hello and welcome to the short Vort on Parshas Yisro. This series is dedicated as a zechus for shleimah for Naftali ben YIta, for my father. Several weeks ago, my father had to go into the hospital for a procedure. Baruch Hashem, he was able to do recovery. Things are progressing better than expected. And when he was able to, he went to shul and he Bentsch Gomel. He thanked Hashem for helping him out of this precarious situation. Unfortunately, other issues have arisen since, and he still needs the tefillos, the tehillim, and please be mispalel in zechus shleimah for Naftali ben YIta. So this week I'm going to talk about a little bit about Birkas HaGomel, as well as answer the question that's in sefer Otzar Pla'os HaTorah, that when Moshe Rabbeinu went up to Har Sinai to get the Torah, which is this week's parsha, so when he came down, did he Bentsch Gomel? So first, as far as the halachos of benching Gomel, it's in Reish Yud Tes in or Simon Reish Yud Tes in Or Chaim in the Shulchan Aruch and the Mishnah Berurah, etc. And there's four key situations where someone comes out of a dangerous situation, and that's when they make this bracha of Birkas HaTorah. You can find the lashon, the language of the text, in the Siddur. And these four situations are known through the mnemonic of the B'chol HaChayim Yodu Chasela, and all the life will thank you, will thank Hashem. And that stands for Ches. Chaim is Ches, Yud Mem. That's Chavush, someone who's in prison and gets out. Yam, for someone who crossed over the sea and survived it. Yud Yisurim is someone who is very sick, deathly ill. And Mem for Midbar, for people who went through the desert, which obviously also is dangerous and got out. So these four situations, Chaim, are what you say this bracha for. Now you have to say it with 10 people, preferably with 2 of them should be Rabbanim, but that is not Ma'akiv. That does not prevent, if you don't have strong enough Rabbanim, great enough Rabbanim there, you can still do it. Usually it's done by Kisei Hakovod, because when we have Kisei Hakovod, we know there's at least 10 men there to answer the bracha. So Moshe Rabbeinu, he went up to Shamayim, and the angels were jealous, and they threatened to burn him. Moshe Rabbeinu had to hold on to the Kisei Hakovod, Hashem's throne, and he was saved there, as described in the Gemara Shabbos Daf Peiches Amud Beis. The Chida, Reb Chaim Yosef Dovid Azulai, the 18th century Torah giant. So he wrote in one of his sefer, and he's probably wrote about 80 or so sefer, maybe more, about one time there was this Rav who had a dream where the Chida's father came to this Rav in a dream, and he asked him several questions, including, did Moshe Rabbeinu say Gomel after he came down from Har Sinai and from Shamayim? And also by Yitzchak Avinu. Did Yitzchak Avinu, after the Akeida, did he have to say Birkas HaGomel? There's actually a couple other questions there. But as far as these two, so during the dream, the father of the Chida did not give an answer. However, the next day he came back and he gave this Rav the answer, and he said the answer is that Moshe Rabbeinu did not say Birkas HaGomel, neither did Yitzchak Avinu. And the reason is, when you're doing a Tzibur Hashem, something that's a commandment for Hashem, it doesn't apply the rules of benching Gomel. In fact, it also applies by questions were by Avraham Avinu, by the Kivshan, when he was thrown into the furnace, and also for the Chananya, Mishael and Azarya, who were also in a furnace. But since they were cases of Kiddush Hashem, therefore that's another situation where you don't make the Birkas HaGomel. And for as far as Yitzchak Avinu, if you go back into Parshas Vayera, the Chida discussed also about that in the sefer Otzar Pla'os HaTorah, that since, according to certain shitas, that Yitzchak actually died and then came back alive, so when he came up, not only did he not say Gomel, but he instead gave a different blessing, which is Baruch Atah Hashem Chayim Esim. He saw that there's such a thing as Chiyas HaMeshim. Basically, thanked Hashem for that. So we look for Besuras Tovos. Again, please be mispalel for Naftali ben YIta and all the Chole Yisrael. Thank you. Have a wonderful Shabbos, a wonderful week. Like, share, and subscribe.